unplanned obsolescence, the desire on the part of a consumer to own something a little newer, a little sooner than is necessary.
En 1940, el gigante químico DuPont presentó una fibra sintética revolucionaria, el nylon. Se formaron largas colas para comprar las nuevas y duraderas medias.
Stockings were a big issue in the 50s and the 60s. You had to wear them. To go out without stockings was really quite shocking.
Quan tu t'arreglaves el diumenge que t'anaves a assaig o al cine o te n'anaves a ballar, normalment et posaves la roba de vestir. Llavors, clar, requeria posar-te unes mitges boniques. I si estaves al ball i estaves ballant i amb un cop o el que fos se't feia un forat, ja no volies ballar més perquè se te veia el forat de la mitja.
Las medias duraderas significaban un gran progreso, pero la alegría duró poco.
My father worked for DuPont before and after the war in the nylon division, and he told me a story about how when nylon first came out and they were trying it out for use in stockings, the men in his division were asked to take these stockings home for their wives and girlfriends to try out. My father brought them home to my mother, and of course she was one of the testers. She was delighted with the first products because they were so sturdy.
Los químicos de DuPont tenían motivos para estar orgullosos. Incluso los hombres admiraban la resistencia de las medias de nylon.
The problem was that they worked too well. They lasted too long. The women were very happy with the fact that they didn't get runners in them. Unfortunately, this meant that the companies producing the stockings were not going to sell very many.
DuPont dio nuevas instrucciones al padre de Nichols Fox y sus colegas.
For the men in his division, it was back to the drawing board to try to make the fibers weaker and come out with something that was more fragile and would run so that the stockings wouldn't last as long.
Wenn man die Lebenszeit einer Strumpfhose verkürzen will, dann ist es eigentlich recht einfach, denn eine Strumpfhose besteht nicht nur aus Nylon, sondern sie besteht aus Zusatzstoffen, die zum Beispiel das Nylon stabilisieren gegen das UV-Licht von der Sonne. Jetzt kann man die Menge dieser Zusatzstoffe einfach variieren. Wenn man dafür wenig Zusatzstoffe oder gar keine reingibt, dann werden diese Strumpfhosen von der Sonne zerstört und dann reißen sie wesentlich leichter. Das heißt, man kann sozusagen den Zerfall, die Zerstörung einplanen.
Pronto, las medias volvieron a tener carreras. Los mismos químicos que habían aplicado todo su saber para crear un nylon duradero, siguieron la corriente de la época y lo hicieron más frágil. Ese hilo eterno desapareció de las fábricas. ¿Qué opinaban los químicos de DuPont de reducir la vida de un producto deliberadamente?
Must have been frustrating for the engineers to have to use their skills to make an inferior product after they'd tried so hard to make a good product. But in a way, I suppose, that's the outsider's view. Probably they just had a job to do. Make it strong, make it weak. That was their job.
Among engineers, there was a shift taking place in consciousness. There was an old school of engineers who believed that they should make a permanent, usable product that would never break. And there was a new school of engineers that were driven by the market, who were clearly interested in making the most disposable product that they could. And this debate resolved itself by these new school of engineers taking over.